If you think taxation is theft, you shouldn't be allowed to vote. Now, that's a tweet by someone by the name of Ravana. I've seen her on TYT. She does her own political thing or whatever. But she sent out this tweet, and it's causing a firestorm. Personally, I think it's really glib to say this. I don't know if she means that, but I don't think she means that. Because if anyone's progressive, they don't want to be against voting in any context. But I'm kind of understanding that to a degree where right-wing libertarians, particularly, spout that all the time. Taxation is theft. Taxation is theft. It is this evil entity coming for you and your well-being, your livelihood, et cetera, et cetera. And paying taxes can be burdensome when we really need money. I understand there's a struggle there. But there's something fundamentally that right-wing libertarians don't understand, is that how we build and maintain societies, our society particularly, is through taxation. That's how this works. And it never lands with them that this is a crucial, fundamental thing we have to do to maintain our country. Now, is there a conflict with where that money goes? Absolutely. Should we all have a say in where that money goes? Absolutely. But this whole mindset of taxation is theft really leads us to toxic places in society, particularly the small government mindset, which is basically, when you hone in on it a little bit more, it's an anti-government. It is the most thinnest veil over, we don't want government. Like, we're going to put people in government simply to undermine government. Like that sort of small government ethos, right? And it has led to so many horrible places in society with our infrastructure failing across the board. Our educational system is critically underfunded. Our healthcare system is an absolute joke. It is underfunded. Once again, like, we just don't invest in it. We've privatized it. We spend twice as much as other Western nations with far better outcomes, far lesser outcomes. It's a total joke. And it's that small government mindset. We want a small government and we want a big private sector. It's that. And that taxation is theft is all tied into this. And we have to call it out for what it is. A total scam on the American people. People are befuddled. Like, where did these Trump supporters come from? What made them this way? How did people get so goddamn regressive in the United States of America, one of the wealthiest nations in history? How did it happen, Dave? How could this be? And it's because of the small government mindset. Taxation is theft mindset. When we don't invest in education, when we don't invest in higher education, when we don't invest in healthcare, you tend to have a lot of sick, regressive people who don't care about reasoning honestly. They don't know how. They grow into their own ignorance. And the Trump supporter is perfectly explainable. When you look at how little this country invests in its own people, okay? Because we're more about investing in the private sector, where it's more about making money than giving people good outcomes. And we have to get back to the ethos of adequate government. I've talked about this before in my video. Not big government, not small government, adequate government. Government that meets the standard basic standards here. This is such a low bar I'm setting. Like, all Western nations, like, already have this standard of, free education, healthcare is free at the point of access, free higher education. They invest in their people, and the outcomes are good because they do this. They don't have a small government mindset. They don't have a taxation is theft mindset, okay? When we use tax money and put it to where the people need it the most, it becomes worth it to pay taxes because you can see people getting educated. You can see people getting health care. You're getting educated. You're getting health care. Your neighbor, your friend, your brother, your sister, everyone around you has more opportunities because we're investing in ourselves. We're not just out trying to make a buck, which the private sector does overtly. What this nation does overtly, okay? We have to get back to adequate government that works for the people. And we're up against big-time propaganda. This is 40 years of Reaganism. Every time I talk to right-wing libertarians, I'm talking to 40-plus years of deep indoctrination. And the red baiting, it's so ingrained in the conscience of the everyday American. It's hard to get through that. It's hard to break through that barrier. But we have to do it. We have to get back to an adequate government that educates its people, that puts priorities back in the lives of everyday Americans. That's why I support people like Bernie Sanders. He's the only one talking. He's talking the best game I've ever heard any politician, and it's the most common sense stuff. And it's a shame that the right-wing media machines, along with 40 years of indoctrination, have convinced people in this country that guy is fringe. That's sad. But that's reality. And I'm seeing it for what it is. It is our present-day reality in America. We're investing into the people once again. It's considered fringe. We're in a bad spot. We're in a hole. We got to dig ourselves out, guys. But don't give up. I'm going to go for my walk and enjoy the leaves. The leaves are turning. What a lovely time of year. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing.